This is the Fox 5 News Block.
The luck of the Irish is unfolding throughout the city with the celebration of the 264th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Antoine Lewis. Welcome to the News Block. Before we talk about the parade, let's talk about the weather, as a number of parade goers, Audrey, needed umbrellas today.
Yeah, they sure did, Antoine. It's been a damp and dreary day across the city and points eastward, but off to the west, you're seeing more in the way of sunshine in places like Sussex County, New Jersey, and into West Warren County, too, as well. 50 degrees right now in White Plains, 51 in Central Park. It's 50 in Islip and 55 out towards East Hampton. A little bit colder to the northwest here. We have 40s in Poughkeepsie and Sussex, 39 now in Monticello. Now, all of these temperatures are running a bit colder than they were at this time yesterday, dramatically colder off to the north and west. That's the leading edge of a colder air mass that will be enveloping the tri-state area as we go into tonight. The winds have also picked up in speed a bit. We have sustained winds between 10 and 20 miles per hour. However, we could have gusts as high as 30 as we move along through the afternoon and into the evening, too. We've been tracking showers on the radar here all morning long. Most of the action, though, has been happening east of the city. Long Island's getting the brunt of it right now. The bulk of the rain is still shifting to the east, but it's ever so slowly moving in that direction. So the clouds are kind of hanging tough here. But if you're north and west of the city, you're seeing more in the way of sunshine, and that will slowly creep in, moving eastward as we go further on in towards the afternoon. The clearing line's not too far away. We'll get into that as we go into tonight. Tomorrow will be a much better day. I'll have the details coming up. Antoine?
All right, Audrey, we'll check in with you. Well, gray skies not a problem as thousands lined up Fifth Avenue for the parade today. Lisa Evers live from Midtown with the very latest on what's going on. Hey, Lee.
Hi, Antoine. Well, this parade, let me tell you, this parade is in its fourth hour, and it is still going strong. People have come from all over the United States, from the UK, and from Europe to be here and celebrate one of the biggest St. Patrick's Day parades anywhere. It's so big it stretches all the way up Fifth Avenue here. Pipe and drum bands keep the vibe lively at this annual St. Patrick's Day tradition. Here on Fifth Avenue, city officials estimate nearly 2 million people turned out in the drizzle and rain to witness the sights and sounds of Irish pride on display. We had a chance to talk with some of the wonderful people here, and here's what they told us. You guys have the front row seat?
I did. I'm here watching my son, here from Florida. He's playing. He's coming up soon.
So first of all, happy birthday.
Thanks.
And this is an extra special day for you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And what are you liking about being here in New York City, Fifth Avenue, the place to be in the world right now for St. Patrick's Day?
Just seeing the band and having a good time.
We are coming from Austria, and we're really enjoying that.
Our daughters march in today.
All right. East Side, where is that located?
Southeast of Atlanta. So
Covington, Georgia.
Covington, Georgia. Happy St. Patrick's Day!
Now, parade officials tell me that everything's been going peacefully. The crowd's been having a great time, no issues whatsoever, and it should be wrapping up within the hour. We're live on Fifth Avenue. I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News. Antoine, back to you.
Lisa, 4 hours in, you still look great. Thank you. Stay safe, Lisa. On Tuesday, the White House says the president will be speaking with Russian President Vladimir Putin about ending the war in Ukraine. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan files this report from London.
We're doing pretty well, I think, with Russia.
President Trump is still pushing his Russian counterpart to agree to an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine. And on Tuesday, they'll hold their second known phone call since the start of Trump's second term. The president says his conversation with Vladimir Putin will be focused on concessions from both sides.
We'll be talking about land, we'll be talking about power plants, dividing up certain assets. Yeah, and they've been working on that.
The Ukrainians have already agreed to a ceasefire following a temporary pause in American military support, but giving up Ukrainian territory currently occupied by the Russian military could be a non-starter for President Volodymyr Zelensky.
We will do everything to make diplomacy effective, but every day now is about defending our independence, our state, and our people.
President Trump also floated the idea of more sanctions against Moscow if they don't stop their offensive in eastern Ukraine. Putin said last week he agreed agreed to the idea of a ceasefire in principle, but only if it was focused on security guarantees for both Ukraine and Russia, including a promise that Ukraine will not become a member of NATO after Trump leaves office.
We are engaging in diplomacy, and that will involve both carrots and sticks to get both sides to the table, but to also resolve this in a way that is permanent and enduring.
Last week, Putin shot down the idea of a 30-day pause in fighting, saying it would be used by Ukraine to regroup and rearm its forces. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Over the weekend, hundreds of suspected immigrant gang members were deported out of the country. Now, according to the AP, they were put on planes, 2 planes, one headed to El Salvador, the other to Honduras. A federal judge blocked the deportations and ordered the planes be returned. But the White House says the planes had already left U.S. airspace. Officials say the suspects were members of the Tren de Aragua gang. The president used the wartime law, the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, as the precedent for the deportations.
This administration is not to be believed when it claims to have any justification for what it's doing when it comes to immigration. They are circumventing our laws. They've invoked this law in order to get around the requirement to provide a hearing in court before they deport somebody. That is not the American way.
Trump officials are also facing controversy with the deportation of Dr. Rasha Alawi from this weekend. Alawi is a 34-year-old doctor at Brown University. Her attorneys say she was among those deported and had been granted a work visa last week. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Master anything with the fastest wireless speeds from Spectrum.
Welcome back. Major cleanup efforts are underway after severe weather swept through parts of the South and Midwest this weekend. A deadly wave of tornadoes touching down, killing dozens of people. Missouri being one of the hardest hit areas. Officials say hundreds of homes, schools, and businesses may have been damaged or even destroyed. At least a dozen people in the state were killed. Some were found when neighbors did their own rescue efforts.
We were helping other people. We found a few bodies that was out in the field, a few deceased people.
Across the South, cars were tossed and trees and power lines were toppled down. Entire neighborhoods have been wiped out, and officials here expect the cleanup could take weeks, if not months. Forever 21 has officially filed for bankruptcy once again. Its parent company says it will wind down the businesses in the U.S. while it tries to figure out if it can operate with a partner or sell. During this time, Forever 21 stores will hold liquidation sales, and the website will continue to operate. The move comes amid a rise in e-commerce and the fall of American malls. Forever 21 had first filed for bankruptcy back in 2019. Well, having a washer dryer in a New York City apartment used to be a rare perk, but now the appliances are making their way into more and more units. But are they worth the higher rent? Well, Fox 5's Jessica Formoso went to find out.
A washer and dryer, an apartment perk some have and many here in New York City want, especially those who rent.
I do sometimes think it would be much more convenient to have it within my 4 walls.
Finding an apartment with a washer dryer inside your unit can be hard to come by. And when you do, rest assured you are paying more for it. Sam Moritz is a real estate agent.
If apartments don't have laundry even in the building, it's no matter how nice the apartment is, how great the location is, it's sometimes an automatic deal breaker.
According to Street Easy, for the past 4 years, the most commonly searched must-have feature has been washer and dryer. Street Easy crunched the numbers. The real estate listing platform tells Fox 5 34% of apartments listed on their site now have in-unit washer dryers. That's up from 27% in 2021.
That convenience of that in-unit washer dryer comes with pretty hefty premium.
A 12% price premium compared to similar apartments without an in-unit washer dryer. David Brand is a housing reporter for WNYC Gothamist. He asked Street Easy for the citywide analysis.
A $3,000 apartment, pretty standard rent these days in New York City, that a 12% increase would be $360 more a month.
So the question is the convenience worth the extra cost?
I don't think so.
Too expensive?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. It really just boils down to the overall cost of living and my budget, you know. But it would be a plus to have it.
Sometimes landlords come to me and say, what will increase the rent of my apartment? And there's only a few things that will increase the rent. Installing washer dryer, installing dishwasher, installing central air, and having outdoor space.
If money wasn't an issue, New Yorkers would agree it's a perk they would splurge on. In Astoria, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
And keeping in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day, there's a time-honored tradition in Chicago bringing about a bit of luck. The Chicago River has officially turned emerald green. Irish eyes certainly smiling as they watch boats speeding around the river, spreading the dye the other day. Chicago has actually been doing this for more than 60 years to kick off St. Patrick's Day festivities. The dye is made from a vegetable-based powder, which is non-toxic and safe for wildlife. White House also celebrating St. Patrick's Day with green water flowing from the North Lawn Fountain. Now, former First Lady Michelle Obama actually started this tradition. And Audrey, I've got to tell you, I've actually seen when they've dyed the river as we look at our skies, but I've actually seen them in Chicago when they've turned it. It's actually pretty cool to look at.
It is. They also do the same thing at the famous fountain in Forsyth Park in Savannah, Georgia. I witnessed that one myself. It's pretty good. All right, folks, unfortunately, we're seeing green on our map here. That we really don't like for today because that indicates that we have rain across the tri-state area. It's all associated with a front that's been stationary over the northeast here, but it's now moving offshore in the mid-Atlantic and southeastern states, allowing for clearer weather to move in from the west. And here it is. This patch of weather is headed in our direction, and it will be bringing us good weather for tomorrow and Wednesday. But before that happens, we have this cold swath of air coming in behind the front. So temperatures are going to take a big dip tonight. We're going to drop back down into the 30s. Not quite as warm as it was last night for sure. But then this swath of warmer air will start to work in here for tomorrow. And once again, we'll have temperatures that will be above normal for this time of year. Here it plays out on our futurecast. We're going to watch this front kind of crawl its way offshore by later on tonight. We're still leaving in the threat of rain, especially across the east end of Long Island here, but New Jersey's faring the best, as well as parts of the Hudson Valley. You're seeing sunshine before the sun sets this evening, and it looks like we'll generally see clearing skies from west to east as we go further on closer to midnight tonight. Tomorrow morning, you may still wake up with some lingering clouds across the east end, but eventually you'll see some sunshine. High pressure starts to come in from the west, setting us up for a beautiful day for Tuesday, and we're expecting more of the same as we move into Wednesday, too. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to have temperatures above normal for this time of year, a nice closer to the winter season. We officially start spring on Thursday with a high of 59 degrees. It turns a bit cooler on Friday, but then we're back into the 60s by next weekend. Antoine, over to you.
Oh, 30s tonight. Well, another reason to drink Guinness. It is St. Patrick's Day, Audrey.
Keep warm however you can.
Thank you so much, Audrey. That is your news blocks for today, everybody. I'm Antoine Lewis. Thank you for joining us. Tune into the 5 o'clock news on Fox 5 and right here on the Fox Local app for all of the day's news as it develops. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. Stay safe. Happy St. Patrick's Day.